The skies over Israel tore open on Friday night and into Saturday morning, not with stars, but with streaks of fire. A terrifying, brutal response from Iran to Israel's audacious Operation Rising Lion. After Israel's preemptive strikes battered Iranian nuclear and military sites, killing key figures and shattering infrastructure, Tehran unleashed a torrent of missiles and drones, turning the anticipated retaliation into a chilling reality that brought the region to the precipice of all-out war. The very air vibrated with the raw terror of incoming projectiles, a symphony of destruction that plunged millions into shelters and ignited a new, agonizing chapter in the enduring conflict. The initial Israeli offensive, a bold move targeting Iran's nuclear aspirations and military capabilities, had left a deep wound. Iranian state media had reported over 78 deaths and more than 320 injuries, mostly civilians, including women and children, in the Israeli strikes on nuclear and military sites, as well as residential buildings. Among the confirmed casualties were Revolutionary Guard Commander Hossein Salami and two prominent nuclear scientists, Faridun Abbasi Davani and Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi, with strong indications that Iran's Armed Forces Chief of Staff, Major General Mohammad Bagheri, was also eliminated. These losses, a profound blow to Iran's leadership and its strategic programs, fueled an immediate and ferocious promise of vengeance. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowed that Israel would not evade consequences for this significant wrongdoing, setting the stage for what would become a night etched in the collective memory. As twilight descended on Friday, the calm was shattered by the piercing wail of air raid sirens across Israel. From the bustling streets of Tel Aviv to the ancient stones of Jerusalem, the chilling alerts sent an entire nation scrambling for cover. Residential areas, once vibrant with life, became ghost towns, their inhabitants huddled in bomb shelters and reinforced rooms, their hearts pounding with a primal fear. What followed was a spectacle of terrifying beauty and unimaginable destruction. Ballistic missiles launched directly from Iranian territory sliced through the night sky, their fiery trails visible for miles, aimed squarely at Israel's heartland. The night was punctuated by blinding flashes as Israel's Iron Dome and other advanced air defense systems roared to life, intercepting numerous incoming threats. Explosions echoed as warheads were detonated midair, showering neighborhoods with shrapnel, adding another layer of terror to the already chaotic scene. The first barrages, a terrifying volley of approximately 100 missiles, tested Israel's formidable Iron Dome and advanced air defense systems to their limits. While the Iron Dome, a beacon of Israeli ingenuity, intercepted a significant majority of the incoming threats, some managed to breach the protective shield. In Tel Aviv, a modern residential high-rise, reportedly housing foreign diplomats, suffered a direct hit, with multiple apartments engulfed in flames. Windows shattered, metal twisted, and the familiar urban landscape was scarred by the brutal reality of war. Residents emerged from shelters to find their homes devastated, their lives irrevocably altered. One Israeli news report grimly detailed how a missile struck the 9th floor of a tower, yet hundreds of civilians in bomb-safe rooms miraculously survived or sustained only light injuries. In Ramat Gan, an older home without a reinforced room was directly hit, but those who sought refuge in its basement were spared. The sheer destructive power of these warheads, carrying hundreds of kilograms of explosives, underscored the precariousness of life under bombardment. The constant blare of sirens, followed by the distant thud of impacts or the sharp crack of interceptions, created a relentless psychological assault. "It just feels very unknown," shared Lindsay Schragen, an architect in Tel Aviv, expressing the pervasive unease gripping the population. The fear of what comes next, of distinguishing between the sounds of protection and destruction, has become a new, harrowing reality. The human toll began to mount. Initial reports from Magen David Adom, Israel's emergency medical service, indicated at least 3 fatalities and over 200 injuries across Israel, including 3 foreign diplomats. The casualties included a young woman in her 20s in the Western Galilee, pulled from the rubble of her 2-story home, and several others in critical condition. Beyond the physical wounds, the psychological scars ran deep. Hundreds of Israelis experienced severe panic attacks amid the incessant barrages, their sense of security shattered by the raw, visceral experience of being under direct missile fire. The sound of explosions, the sight of smoke plumes, and the constant fear of the next siren created an atmosphere of profound anxiety. Schools across Israel were immediately ordered closed, workplaces deemed non-critical shut down, and public gatherings were prohibited, transforming daily life into a state of heightened alert. Tel Aviv's normally bustling beaches lay eerily empty, a testament to a city on edge. Residents huddled in small groups in parks, staying close to public shelters, trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy amidst the surreal reality of a nation under missile attack. Even with all the pressure, all we need is to be together, remarked Zhenya Cooperman, a young chef, highlighting the communal coping mechanism. As the night wore on, Iran launched a second wave of missiles dubbed Operation True Promise 3, with Iranian state TV claiming it would be 20 times stronger than the initial response. While the full extent of this second wave's impact is still being assessed, it signaled Tehran's unwavering resolve to inflict pain and demonstrate its capabilities. Iranian military analysts reported the use of various ballistic missile types from their extensive arsenal, including Ghadr, Khaybar Shekan, Fateh 110, and Qiyam-1, alongside advanced drones. These projectiles, known for their varying ranges and precision capabilities, targeted not only population centers but also specific military centers and air bases that Iran claimed were used in the Israeli criminal aggression. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, proudly claimed responsibility for the retaliatory attacks, stating their missiles and drones had targeted military centers and air bases that served as the source of the criminal aggression against our country, including fighter jet fuel production facilities and energy supply centers in Israel. The IRGC asserted that dozens of ballistic missiles effectively hit strategic targets, dismissing Israeli claims of extensive interception. The international community reacted with a mixture of alarm and urgent calls for de-escalation. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly discussed the escalating conflict, with both leaders agreeing on the need for hostilities to cease. However, statements from various nations reflected deep concern. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi stated Beijing's support for Iran in safeguarding its national sovereignty and condemned attacks on nuclear facilities as setting a dangerous precedent. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer urged all parties to step back and reduce tensions urgently, announcing that the UK was moving military assets, including fighter jets, to the Middle East for contingency support. Germany's foreign minister warned that the risk of further escalation is real. French President Emmanuel Macron urged utmost restraint, expressing concern for diplomatic facilities and nationals in the region. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan emphasized that Israel needed to be stopped, calling it the main threat to stability and security in the region. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency meeting at Iran's request, where Iran condemned Israel's assault as an unlawful act of aggression and an act of state terrorism, invoking its right to self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres condemned any military escalation and pleaded for maximum restraint to avoid a descent into deeper conflict. Adding to the complexity, the pre-existing US-Iran nuclear hawks, set to take place in Oman, were abruptly cancelled by Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi declared that negotiations were unjustifiable while barbarous Israeli attacks continued, putting a halt to diplomatic efforts aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear program. This development casts a long shadow over any immediate prospects for a diplomatic resolution, pushing the nuclear issue back into the realm of direct military confrontation. Satellite imagery from various sources quickly became vital in assessing the damage on both sides, confirming hits on military bases, and according to Iran, also key energy infrastructure in Israel. The targeting of strategic gas infrastructure in northern Israel, specifically near Haifa and Tamra, by Iranian missiles has opened a new and dangerous front, aiming at Israel's economic lifeline and further intensifying the conflict beyond military targets. The implications of this brutal retaliation are staggering. The conflict has moved beyond proxy warfare and into direct, overt military exchanges between two major regional powers. Energy markets reacted swiftly, with oil prices sharply rising and concerns escalating over the security of crucial shipping lanes, particularly the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point for global oil supplies. Both sides have vowed further action. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu warned that more is on the way and urged the Iranian people to rise up against the regime, while Iranian officials pledge a more severe and powerful response if Israel continued its strikes. The situation remains incredibly fluid and dangerous, with each new exchange threatening to ignite a wider regional conflagration. Analysts from security think tanks fear a controlled escalation could quickly spiral into a full-scale regional war, with miscalculation or unforeseen events serving as the catalyst. The long-term psychological impact on civilians, especially children, exposed to relentless missile attacks, is also a grave concern, with mental health experts highlighting elevated levels of anxiety and potential PTSD. As the dawn broke over a tense Middle East, the world held its breath, acutely aware that the consequences of this escalating conflict could reshape the geopolitical landscape for generations to come. The raw emotion, the fear, and the unyielding resolve on both sides painted a grim picture of a region teetering on the edge.